Hello everybody, welcome to Richard's Trainwreck Film Review. I'm your host and Trainwreck Richard, and today, well, we're not really doing a review of a film, but we are going to do an overview of a director in preparation for a series of reviews I want to do, and that director is the one and only Wong Kar-Wai, whose box set, the World of Wong Kar-Wai box set, I just got from the Criterion Collection, and I burned a big fucking hole in my wallet in the process because I have no impulse control. Honestly though, I'm already so stoked about this purchase. I can't wait to dig into it. Wong Kar-Wai is one of my favorite directors ever, and is the director of my favorite film ever, which we'll get to in a little bit. But really, I wanted to do just a quick video on what Wong Kar-Wai means to be, and Wong Kar-Wai, I think you should watch his movies. Fucking shoot me. So why should you check out Wong Kar-Wai's movies? Well, 3 reasons, just off the bat. 1, the visuals, okay? If you like visually inventive and unique films, to the point that they emphasize visuals over, like, conventional narrative and character development and stuff like that, I honestly can't think of a director I would recommend more highly than Wong Kar-Wai. His films are unique in that he does not go into his films with a script when he's filming. He begins with like a general outline of what he wants the film to be, and then he kind of comes up with the rest of the film as he's going along, discovering from scene to scene, moment to moment, to shot, which is a very inefficient way of making films, but also allows for a kind of free-flow form and experimentation that you just don't get when you can't just, like, you know, roam creatively. I think David... Oh, my fucking God. You know what? If you ever get a call... I say this as somebody who's lived in Michigan most of their life, but if you ever get a fucking call from a 313 number, which is the area code for Detroit, just hang it up. It's not worth it. It's somebody asking for blood or asking for money every fucking time. It's never been anything else. It's always one of those 2 things. Unless you like got a reservation at a restaurant downtown or something and they're trying to call you about the reservation, then you should answer the 313 number. But generally speaking, if it's from the 313, hang that shit up immediately. It will interrupt your YouTube video. Very rude, Detroit. I'm going to put this on silence now. Sorry. We're just going to leave this in here because I'm horribly unprofessional. And you know what? This is the fucking train wreck review. This isn't the pretty manicured, everything is like edited together so coherently and nicely. This is the fucking train wreck review, god damn it. And if we don't get to see some bodies and some limbs and some blood along the way, then what's the point of this shit? Wong Kar-Wai visually is such a unique director. For many films, he worked with Christopher Doyle, a longtime cinematographer who went on to do other great films even without Wong Kar-Wai. He did Zhang Yimou's Hero. I hope I'm saying that director's name right. But the 2 of them carved out a very unique visual style that, especially prevalent in this film in the 90s, uses a lot of really wild handheld camera work, just really bizarre and inventive camera angles, odd choices for lenses, like in Fallen Angel specifically uses a lot of like wide angle and fisheye lenses to strange but dramatically and artistically compelling effect. And he really does a lot of his storytelling through visuals and through visual language and lyricism. And I've just never encountered another director with a style quite like his. Even after him and Doyle kind of parted ways in their careers, like after In the Mood for Love, I don't think he's made a film with Doyle since. Whenever you watch a Wong Kar-Wai movie, you know you're watching a Wong Kar-Wai movie. You just flip it on and you see like the rain and like the kind of like slow like stop motion effects and the editing and those peculiar framings and camera angles, and you know that this guy's fingerprints are just all over the thing. And his style kind of like changes and evolves from film to film. So like His earlier films, like Chungking Express, were shot in this like kind of guerrilla on the go. We clearly didn't have a permit to be shooting here, so we're kind of doing all this on the fly. Like kind of rough and tumble aesthetic that works exceptionally well for that film. But then by the time you get to In the Mood for Love, the visual style is so restrained and it's so tight and so seemingly deliberate, even though his style as a filmmaking is anything but that. I mean, unless you knew how he worked it, you'd be shocked. You never would guess that a lot of the scenes in that were kind of the product of happenstance and just happy little accidents. And then onward to 2046, where his visual extravagance just, really takes off and goes to some really wild places. So first reason, visually such a unique and compelling director. Second reason, the music. I mean, the soundtracks, this guy's got killer taste in music. Everything from Chungking Express is that California Dreamin' song, California. I'm not going to sing for you. I only sing for my cat, and he hates it when I do that. Like, he really, really hates my singing. Another fun fact about me, I love karaoke, and I can fucking spelt out some karaoke, but only if I'm drunk. And I haven't had a drink in 5 years, so I haven't really been able to sing karaoke in 5 years. But yeah, funny how that works. I don't know if I actually was better at singing on karaoke or if I was just drunk and I thought I sounded better. But is there really much of a difference at the end of the day? Anyway, great music. Sometimes his soundtracks are like repetitive with the music. Like In the Mood for Love is a film of his that really only features like a few tracks, and yet they're all used to very calculated and very precise and very powerful effect. And all of his films have introduced me to some genre or some song or some artist that I'd never really appreciated before. So if you get into Wong Kar-Wai's movies, you're going to find a lot of really great and groovy music that's from kind of off the beaten path. And finally, the most important reason to watch Wong Kar-Wai movies is love. The central overriding theme of all of his films is love. Some people like to say that nobody makes movies about God like Ingmar Bergman. I like to say that nobody makes movies about love like Wong Kar-Wai. Every single one of his films, this little box set right here, contains 7 of his first 8 films. They are all about love in some way or another, and they're all about a different facet and aspect of love. So I think that there is a Wong Kar-Wai movie out there for everybody. And for me, almost every Wong Kar-Wai movie is the Wong Kar-Wai movie for me, but especially In the Mood for Love. But really, no matter like where you are in life or what you kind of been through, let's take a look at a couple of these discs here, and I'll just kind of show you. So, like, let's say, for example, you're younger, you're a college student, you're in your early 20s, whatever. You're gonna want something like Chungking Express right here. This bad motherfucker, Chungking Express. This was the first one I fell in love with. It's not my favorite now. My favorite is In the Mood for Love. But Chungking was the first of his films I really fell in love with. Because I watched it, and I watched it in my early 20s when I was really, I had gone through like a really brutal breakup at the time. And I was trying to kind of rationalize to myself that, when you're in your first love, you think it's going to last forever. And then it doesn't, 99 times out of 100, unless you're like the one fucking weirdo who marries his high school sweetheart. Which, hey, if that's you, good on you. Glad you managed to pull that off. I couldn't fucking do that shit. Hope that bitch is burning in hell. I actually don't, I think. But now that I've gotten that out, Chungking Express is a movie that's really about the ephemeral nature of love. And I think really speaks to people who were like in their early 20s. It's kind of like a bisected love story. It's about 2 different stories, kind of split down the middle. And it's about 2 different cops who are working the same beat in Hong Kong and the Chungking the Chungking Manors or the Chungking Bazaars or whatever they're called. I can't remember. It's been a little while since I've seen this. I'm so excited to revisit these films because it's been years since I've seen some of these. And some of them I've watched over and over again. Like I just rewatched In the Mood for Love the other day with my sister. We'll get to that one in a moment. There's going to be a whole ass video about In the Mood for Love. It's my favorite film ever. But Chungking is a film about these two lives that were really only connected by like a single point in time, and about these two police officers who fall in love with two very different women, and they have very different outcomes. And it's really about the kind of fleeting and transitory nature of love, but how even in that temporary and flowering state, there's still something very beautiful there. So there's a real sense of loneliness and melancholy to the film, but there's also something like kind of sweet and tender and hopeful about it too. The follow-up to that would be Fallen Angels, which was originally conceived actually as the third part of the third story of Chungking Express, and then was kind of made into its own film. See, we got Fallen Angels right here. I think this is backwards on this fucking camera, and I don't know how to fix it. I'll try to, but I mean, I'm a fucking dumbass. I don't know if I'll be able to do it or not. But that one has some really wild camera work. Like, this guy has got wild camera work and shot compositions, but this one might take the cake in terms of, like, he'll use, like, these crazy wide-angle lenses, which you usually use for a wide shot, right? And he'll bring it in, like, right there up to the actors' faces, so it's, like, stretched and distorted. And it's also a much darker film than Chungking. It's about crime. It's about, like, a hitman who's... it's like a few different stories. It's a story about a hitman who's... trying to get out of the game, but his partner, who also is kind of in love with him, doesn't want him to leave the life of crime because she knows it means that she's not going to work with him anymore. It's also about a mute man who can't speak, who kind of goes around town and hijacks different businesses and runs their shops after hours to provide goods and services to people. And it's just a strange film where if Chungking is about how two lives can intersect at a single moment in time and have an indelible impact on each other without them ever really knowing or realizing it, then Fallen Angels is about how lives can intertwine and intersect like herringbone in ways that you can't really see or understand. And then if you're into queer or LGBT cinema, just got to say, Happy Together. One of the most ironic film titles in history. Happy Together is one of the most emotionally violent films I've ever seen. It's about two gay men from Hong Kong who are expatriates living, I believe it's in Argentina. That's where it takes place. I know it's South America. I'm pretty sure it's Argentina. Really excited to revisit Happy Together. Haven't seen that one in ages. But it's about these two gay men who, on the one hand, there's like love and tenderness and affection there, but there's also like violence, both emotional and physical. Like these dudes just like, if you've ever heard I can't remember who it was. Was it Bill Burr or Louis C.K. who had that bit about like, he kind of wished he was dating a guy so he could just punch him in the fucking head at some point because you can't do that to a woman. Well, they actually do that in this one, and it's not that funny. It's actually like really kind of fucking horrifying, but it's a very powerful portrait about a horribly toxic relationship. And it was the first like gay film I saw where my mind was not occupied with the fact that these men are gay, because you grow up in a white suburb, you absorb some attitudes, you break those when you're in college. I'm a different person now. But it was the first film I watched where like the fact that they were gay just completely disappeared from my mind. And I saw them as a horribly damaged couple where I could see flashes of myself and my own history with love, not the physical aspect of it, mind you, but the emotionally violent aspect of it was something that stuck with me, and that kind of messed with me, and it made me feel sick in a way that I wasn't anticipating going into it. And to this day, it remains maybe my favorite gay film, alongside Park Chan-wook's The Handmaiden, which is a fantastic lesbian film. Uh, and then beyond that, oh God, my favorite film ever. My favorite, his masterpiece. Many of his films are masterpieces, but this one, In the Mood for Love, just a consummate, seminal work of art. One of the most profoundly sad and anguished films I've ever seen, and not in any sort of conventional way. It's not a film that's going to leave you like bawling at the end. It's a film that's going to leave you feeling suffocated. What is it, buddy? Oliver's very, very whiny right now. Come here. Come say hi to the camera. Come on. I know you want to. He's so ridiculous. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to deal with Big Chungus over there. He's got like serious anxiety about stuff. The last house he was in before I've got him, I've had Oliver for like, I want to say about 2 years now. Yeah, I've had him for about, no, 2.5 years now. And he's always been very anxious. The last house he was in, there were 2 other cats. And you know how if you get 3 cats together, 2 will always like kind of gang up to bully the one. Well, Oliver was the one. So he's got a lot of anxiety, and specifically he's got anxiety about eating. So if I'm not there when he wants to eat, he like freaks out and demands quite vocally that I come and stand over him while he eats because he's such a prissy little bitch. But I love him. He's very cute and fluffy. He'll probably come meow at me again before this recording is done. He's such a needy cat. Anyway, In the Mood for Love. It's a film about a man and a woman who live in neighboring apartments in Hong Kong in the 60s. And they begin to suspect that their spouses are having an affair on each other with each other's spouses. And they confront each other, and rather than, if In the Mood for Love were an American film, the typical story would be like, they would be like, let's team up and show them, we're going to get revenge. We're going to humiliate them, and hijinks would ensue. And then in the end, they'd be like, you're the one that I loved all along. And that is absolutely not what happens here. Rather than that, they actually start role-playing as the other person's spouse and acting out scenes to try to figure out how the affair started in the first place. And the places it goes emotionally and visually are just unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm going to stop talking about In the Mood for Love now because this film has my heart in a vice. And if I start talking about it now, I will literally never stop. And then finally, Wong Kar-Wai's most visually extravagant film, 2046, which is actually a direct sequel to In the Mood for Love. And I'm not really going to get into that now. We'll save that for its own review. But In the Mood for Love is very much a film about love kind of being a matter of time and place and circumstance. It's about two people who are clearly meant for each other, but arrived simultaneously too early and too late in each other's lives for anything to actually happen. And if that's what that's about, then 2046 is about the past, about being stuck in the past, about, past relationships, kind of haunting you and not being able to let go of that. And for a long time, I felt like I was trapped in 2046. I feel like I've kind of escaped from that in recent years, but, when you have a relationship that really does a number on you, the effects of that can linger and can haunt you for years, as I'm sure many of you probably know. And then aside from that, the other 2 films in this collection are Days of Being Wild, which actually forms kind of an informal trilogy with In the Mood for Love and 2046. It's also the one that I have not seen in the longest time, so I'm not really going to talk too much about that one there. And his debut film, As Tears Go By, which is one of only 2 films of his that I have not seen. The other being My Blueberry Nights, which is to date his only English language film. And I'll get to that one eventually, but I also know it's widely regarded as his worst film by a pretty wide margin. But even a bad Wong Kar-Wai movie is still probably a 6 out of 10 by the standards of other directors, and I'm sure is still very beautiful. So we'll get around to that at some point. But yeah, so I've got 7 films, hopefully 7 reviews lined up. I don't know if I'm going to do a review for each of them, but I would like to. I'm going to watch all the films in order, starting with As Tears Go By. And yeah, I'm so excited to get back into this dude's films. In the Mood for Love is a film I revisit like once or twice a year, and every time I watch it, I just feel suffocated like the next day. Like I just that film has a hold over me in a way that no other film ever has. And this guy is a very unique and very special director to me. And I hope you'll join me on this weird little journey that I want to go on here. I hope it's as great for you as it is for me. I doubt it. I don't know if anybody's going to love In the Mood for Love as much as I do. That was an arrogant statement. I'm sorry. But, God, I fucking love that movie so much. If there's any film I could make, I would want to make something, even if it was only half as good as that. I could die happy knowing that I could scratch up against that just fucking monumental piece of work. Anyway, Wong Kar-Wai. What a man. What a catalog. What a series we've got ahead of us. I'm really excited to get into it. I hope you're as excited as I am. So stick around. Catch the excitement. I'll see you soon. Bye, motherfuckers. I still got to work on my sign-off line. Bye, motherfuckers. Really isn't going to work. I'm probably going to get algorithm bombed. There's no way this channel is ever going to be fucking successful with my fucking shit-stained potty mouth of nothing. Also, just want to say, I wanted to post something sooner. I'm sorry. Last weekend, I had to go down to Florida to help my sister move, which moving in the middle of August in Florida is terrible. And also, can I just say, okay, a little bit of a, we're going to stop with the Wong Kar-Wai thing here. I'm going to talk about Florida for a little bit and how much I fucking hate Florida, okay? Get ready for a fucking Florida rant that nobody asked for. Okay, Florida. First of all, fuck you. Second of all, Florida, fuck you. Third of all, nobody in the entire state of Florida knows how to fucking drive, okay? I drove a U-Haul across the state, not vertically. I didn't drive across like the entire shaft of the dick, which, by the way, yeah, Florida basically is the dick of America. It hangs there off the edge. It's infested with fucking herpes and clap and God knows what fucking else. I drove across the state of Florida over to Palm Beach. And what a miserable fucking experience. In addition to all the douchebags who are like weaving in and out of my massive 15-foot truck because I'm moving shit, including like going into the exit lane, speeding past me, and then cutting me off just before the exit lane was about to end because God forbid you have to fucking sit behind a big fucking truck for like 30 seconds until there's an opening. No, fuck it. Shoot the gap. This is America, goddammit. You can fucking do it. Ron DeSantis says you can do it. Donald Trump says you can do it. Hit that fucking gap. Fuck that fucking U-Haul. I got flipped off by some fucking hillbilly in a fucking truck who was just fucking driving along. He flipped me off for like a quarter of a mile. And I know it wasn't an accident because he like bent his arm over and rested it on the roof of his car just so I could fucking see that shit. Why? I don't know. Maybe he didn't like that I was driving too close to him. Guess what, sir? I don't want to fucking be near you either, okay? I've been fucking driving this thing for like a fucking hour and a half. I'm in traffic too. I don't want to fucking be anywhere near you based on my first impressions of you. And then guess what? Like 10 minutes later after we get separated in traffic, I see this motherfucker again in the left-hand lane going like 10 miles an hour under the fucking speed limit. Fuck you, cunt. Whoever you are, fucking Florida man, I hope you fucking choke, and I hope somebody runs over your legs in traffic and breaks your fucking feet so that you can never drive again, and then I hope a fucking bird comes along and bites off both your middle fucking fingers so you can never flip anybody off again. Fuck you, motherfucker. Anyway, then we get to what, like Palm Beach. And can I just say, what a weird town that whole Palm Beach area is. You got like 3 sides, and they're all separated by water. So on the easternmost side, you've got Palm Beach, and that's where like the fucking mega rich people live, okay? I saw like on Saturday night out there, I saw like 6 fucking, I hesitate to even call them yachts, okay? I've been on yachts, okay? I've known people with yachts. Those were boats. These were like fucking mini cruise ships. There were like 6 of them out there. And these motherfuckers were just like in a circle in the fucking channel. Just like palling around. All these fucking mega rich assholes who've exploited the fuck out of the working class to the point where they can own these obscenely large boats. Out there fucking flaunting their wealth out there on the water for everybody to see. But then the second you get over to Palm Beach and you're like, well, maybe I'll get to see some cool houses and shit. No, they don't even have the fucking decency to just put their insane wealth out there on Front Street. All the houses are surrounded with gates and palm trees and bushes, so you can't actually make out any of the what I'm sure beautiful houses, even though it's built off the back of exploitation. As we all know, most of these people are fucking heinous, and billionaires frankly should not fucking exist. If that alienates you, I'm sorry. Those are my fucking political views. Fuck Jeffrey Bezos. Fuck every fucking billionaire out there. I refuse to believe that anybody who accumulates that much wealth has done it in an ethical or moral way. Fuck everyone in Palm Beach. And fuck you for not letting me look at your fucking house. You're so fucking good. You don't want to show off your wealth, but you're happy to sit out there in your fucking 2,000-foot, 6-deck, fucking 2-bar, fucking God knows what else you have on that thing. Probably got more TVs in there than I do in my fucking house. You probably got more TVs in one room than I do in my house. What am I saying? I've got 2 TVs here. One in my room, one in my living room. Like a fucking normal person. This motherfucker's probably got 20 TVs on his boat, but he's like, oh, I don't want the plebeians to see my house. That would be in bad taste. But your fucking boat isn't. Fuck your boat. And then, so that's Palm Beach. That's the eastern side. Then you got a little body of water, and then you got West Palm Beach. And this shit felt like this place was bougie. It was bourgeois. It wasn't bourgeoisie. It was bourgeois. But it was the weirdest fucking thing. I felt like I was in the Truman Show there, because you fucking get in there, right? And you walk around, and there's nobody on the streets. Saturday night, there's nobody in the streets, and you're like, what the fuck? But then the second you go into any of the restaurants, they're all packed. And yet I never see anybody leaving the restaurants, and I never see anybody entering the restaurants. So now I'm starting to think, like, what the fuck is going on here? Are these just like, is this like the Truman Show? Or are these just like fucking paid actors who just come in here to make it seem like everything's going well? I don't know. I also saw some cops on Segways, which I'm going to tell you, anytime I see a cop on a Segway, I think of fucking Paul Blart. If you're a cop on a Segway, how am I supposed to fucking take a cop on a Segway seriously? What are you going to do? Zoom aggressively? I guess you could zoom aggressively at me and then fucking shoot me. Then again, I'm also a white man. It's statistically far less likely to happen to me. Anyway, so then you got West Palm Beach. And then on the other side, I don't know if that's Palm Beach County or what, but that shit's just Florida. Okay, not even Florida. That's Florida. I saw the single worst driving maneuver of my entire life over there. I went to a Home Depot to get some shit. So, like I said, I could help my sister move. And I saw a man in a white pickup truck go backing up through the parking lot, around a corner, going 20 miles an hour with an open truck bed, with shit in the bed. And somehow, miraculously, he did not hit anybody, which I'll admit was a little impressive. And he hops out and he's wearing like a fucking pink raincoat and Crocs. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? Every time I go to Florida, there's some fresh new shit that makes me think, like I'll go out, like I went paddling in Tampa Bay, like not last time, but the last time I was down there, I went paddling in Tampa Bay, and I went home. I was itchy for like a week afterwards from exposure to that water. Come to find out, there's a fucking like reservoir of fucking chemicals just leaking into the fucking bay, and nobody's fucking doing anything about it. So fuck Florida. I really just felt the need to pad this out because I felt like I really needed to hit that 30-minute stretch. And I wanted you to know just how much like, if you're from Florida, like, why? Why are you still there? As sea levels continue to rise, America's dick is going to end up submerged in the ocean's womb. and none of you are going to have a fucking way out. It's just, if you're from Florida, tell me why you're doing this. Anyway, I've gone on for 30 minutes now. Wong Kar-Wai. So excited to get into the movies. I still need to figure out a sign-off phrase. See ya. Bye.